Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Angel here with Side Chicks Exposed. And today I kind of want to talk about a kind of weird, touchy subject that I just kind of thought of the other day. And it's about not normalizing divorce. So I'm sure a bunch of people believe to some extent that if you and your partner don't work out being together, that you should just opt for divorce. Obviously, they feel like they went through trials and tribulations, and they feel like they've actually tried, and it's just not working out. And that's why we need to normalize vetting partners properly. Um, that's not to say that I guess you could meet a man and sleep with him, get married in 2 weeks, and then you cannot live for like 60, 70, 80 years. But for the most part, that does not happen. So both men and women need to vet their partners properly. That goes into how you meet somebody, um, and during the dating phase, seeing how you guys are. If you're noticing things that you just don't think that you can deal with long term, don't just assume that things are going to get better. Um, there are those very rare occasions where the partner that you're with literally lied to you. I don't know if you guys remember, there was a show called Who Did I Marry? And I remember specifically this one episode. I don't know it into detail, but I remember this episode where this woman was with this man for I think about 5, 6, 7 years. Married to a surgeon. And I think like for whatever reason she looked in the closet, like that whole thing, like I was cleaning and then the shoebox fell and hit the ground kind of a thing, and she was she was looking through and then saw the shoebox, it fell, and then opened up. It was passports, it was licenses, IDs of different names that he was posing as. Yes, as different bank accounts. It was just like a bunch of things just showing that like he had basically different IDs of stuff, different IDs of different personas basically. So when you I guess you kind of see that as kind of like, wow, like which one is he? Like is he like the real person, or is he like one of these licenses that are in the box? Is he just like one of these? Most likely he was one of those, I believe. I'm sure. I doubt that you met, like, I doubt that you're coming to find out that you don't know your husband and he is exactly who he said that he was. He most likely was one of those licenses in the box. He just picked it up and then started a life with her. Basically, he had killed a bunch of women, such and such, and he wasn't even a real doctor. So in situations like that where you honestly don't really know who you're with, um, that is a little bit more understandable because we don't understand or like foresee someone taking psychotic to that level, that you are a mass manipulator. Um, Same thing for women. For men to women, I can understand you just thinking that this is the type of girl she is. And no, this does not mean she was a hot, sexy young thing when I met her. Now she's overweight. She's not who I married. That's not what I mean when I say changed. That does not mean that. Especially if she had children. Like, yeah, no. We're saying, like, actually is a different person. Meaning, I like how we have all these things in common. To find out that she hates all those things and just said all those things just to get with you, and it's nowhere near that person. Not one or two things. I mean, like, everything about her is different. Like, it's bad. Like, you don't even know, like, her natural hair color. Same thing for guys. Like, you don't know it's natural hair color. Like, they've been, like, dyeing their hair forever, and you don't even know what their natural hair color is. They lied about their favorite color. They lied about this. They lied about family. I think, there's a show called Imposters, where this girl just, like, obviously watching it, she's the same girl with a different wig on, a different makeup. But in real life, it kind of shows, like, she basically, it's a show, not a reality or documentary. This girl is just putting on these wigs, fooling men, and basically taking their money and then just kind of like leaving with like some kind of embarrassing scandal. So if they were to call the cops, she's going to release such and such, which is going to make you look awful. So some situations like that, um, it's a little bit more understandable to want a divorce. Granted, I feel like those people are so naive. I'm not blaming a victim who just wasn't precocious and cautious of their life. I don't think divorce is something that should be stigmatized as, oh, if it doesn't work out, then just leave your partner. Oh my gosh, and especially with like this whole like baby mama kind of thing going on where you're just literally with the man for money, and as soon as he like says something wrong, like you leave him for all his money. Which honestly happens more than not. We should stop making it seem like it's okay. Um, and it kind of intertwines with like the whole baby mama, baby daddy thing where, well, you know, if you and your relationship don't work out, then it's fine. You can just get with somebody else. Like, no, you had a baby with this person. You need to stay with this person, and you need to marry this person. That goes for both guys and girls. You should not just be sleeping with men that you don't see as potential fathers. And men, ew, you guys should not be sleeping with the women that you don't see as like potential wives or mothers. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, the fact that it's such a notion where, I didn't know, I was just trying to have sex. It's just kind of like, that is just so old and so played out. Like, we know what sex leads to. We know that, it may not be every single time that you have sex with somebody that you are at risk of having a baby, but we know, like, for the most part, that it's supposed to happen. Like, we were meant here to, like, procreate, meaning, like, you may have sex with somebody 100 times, and, like, that 101 time you get pregnant. With other people, it's that one time. It's meant to have children. It's meant to produce children. Now, I feel like, and look, this goes with contraceptive, not contraceptive, because we know none of that is 100%. It's not ever 100% because we're supposed to procreate. You know what I mean? So it's never going to be 100% because it's trying to, what's the word? What am I trying to think of? It's not, the reason why it's not 100% because it's trying to do something unnatural, which is prevent a baby from happening, with the very act that is meant to have children. You know what I mean? So, so personally, I think that you need to marry the person that you have sex with, especially constantly, and marry the person that you had a baby with. I don't care if you don't see her as marriage material. You thought that she was some type of material when you were having sex with her, and forget about it if it was unprotected. Like, that is awful for you to not respect that woman that did that. Now, same goes for the women. Like, I'm not leaving women completely blameless because there's this notion where women can't say where women can't say, oh, well, you shouldn't be sleeping around, because they're like, well, you should have opened up your legs. 1,000%. Why are you opening up your legs to just anybody? It's disgusting. It's not funny. It's not funny. It's disgusting. It's really bad. Like, you should not be sleeping around. Like, that thought of just sleeping around people is honestly disgusting. Like, I can't even remotely see it as a fun, good time. Maybe because me personally, I've always been kind of scared of, like, that awkward conversation afterwards, right? Like, I mean, how does it go? Like, look, whoever's house it is, it's kind of like, it's two scenarios for whoever house it is. Kind of like, you gotta tell her to get out, or you want her to stay. And the vice versa of the other person, which is he or she, by the way. It's, you either want to kick them out, or you're trying to get them to stay, which is so awkward. And then, sorry, I'm putting on something for my kids. Putting on the door. Or it's the person there where it's like, should I go or I want to stay? Like, that is so weird. Like, you guys are weird. The people who sleep around, have one night stands, you guys are weird. Because I'm sure it's either, sorry, it's not, it's more than one of those two. It's one more option where you're just completely like shut off emotionally, where you're just kind of like, that was fun, and you just like get out. It's like, well, what are you doing with your lives? Like, you literally, it's so awkward. It's so hard to say, because what's something that was deemed as such a special, significant act that was so intimate and beautiful and meant for people that you actually love and care about, it's turned to this flyby, hop in, hop out. Men are fucking comparing themselves to other men. Women do the same thing, by the way. Women compare their body count to other women and try to outcompete them as well. This is hoe energy, by the way. This is not regular women who are just stupid and sleep around and got caught up and thought that he liked you. This is hoe energy, where they are counting their partners and going back and forth with their friends and laughing about it and sleeping with the same men and taking notes, comparing notes. You know what I mean? And I think that this society has just turned so disgusting. I feel like if you're going to sleep with someone consistently, you might as well be actively trying to date for marriage. I don't think that you should just to date. I think that you should date for marriage. I think that's the only reason why you should be, excuse me. I think it's the only reason why you should be actively trying to date somebody, is for the intent to marry them, for the intent to be with them the rest of your life. So if you're sleeping around with someone that you don't see as a viable partner, it's going to be sticky later on in life when situations like you have children happen. Revert back to the divorce situation, because all this matters. All this, it is a rant, but all this kind of like adds together with divorce. If you're not vetting your partner, stuff like this happens where you're just having fun with the girl and then like you get her pregnant, and then it's kind of like, oh wow, 10, 20 years later, like I fell out of love with her. Well, no crap. You never loved her. You just literally thought it was fun. Then you did the manly thing to do and try to make it a real situation, try to make it a legit relationship, and it just didn't work out because you guys were never compatible mentally, ever. You were never compatible mentally. And same thing with women, where you're just wondering, how did your man fall in love with you out of 10, 15 years? Well, go back to how you guys met. Oh, we met at a bar. Not to say that you can't meet someone at a bar and not live 50, 60 years, but at a bar, you guys met, fell in love at a bar, and you're wondering why he's looking at every woman when he came in looking at every woman. You know what I mean? That no sooner that you guys met at the bar, you guys started becoming a thing. Not like, oh, I met him at a bar, and then years passed by and we reconnected. That's a different situation. You meet someone in a possibly compromising situation, and then years go by and you're no longer in that same position. You're more like a normal person and not just there for like the fun. I think that is for why situations like that kind of change a little bit. But when you met a girl at a club, you met a guy at a club, it's most likely not going to transpire into something real. And I mean, like, you guys could like each other, have children with each other, but like real, it's like it's so hard to describe it. It's so hard to describe the feeling of when it comes to something being real and how you feel about something being real. Because it's more than just, oh, I like him, he likes me. I love him, he loves me. Like, I don't know how to describe it. People who are in like a relationship where they truly care about their partner and their partner truly cares about them, they know what I mean. Like, it's real. It's not like, it's not surface. You know what I mean? It's a lot deeper than that. And so we're just kind of like marrying like the wrong person, I should say. When you kind of like marry the wrong person, I should say, it leads to divorce. And I was underneath the comment section underneath the video about divorce, and one person said that I thought was nice, that once you get married to somebody and you have children, it's your duty to take care of those children. It's no longer about you. So divorce should never be an option if you have kids. unless your children are like 18, 19, 20 and like aren't outside the house, um, unless they're out the house, um, I don't think that you should divorce. Um, it's more than tacky. It's like, it's you care about your feelings more. I can't stand that man. So we're living in separate houses. Like, how entitled can you be knowing damn well you had a child? Darn well, excuse me. Knowing well that you had a child. How selfish can you be? Oh, I can't stand that woman no more. She's not the woman I married. You selfish man. How can you do that when you had a child? That means put whatever you guys have to the side and care about your children. It's more than just how to describe it, because divorce, you think it's like the best thing because you know you can't see the person no more, so why be miserable when you could be happier separate? It's not about you. Your children, just look, this is just like the least thing they have to deal with. They have to pack up their bag, go to dad's house, and then pack up their bag and go to mom's house, and pack up their bag and go to dad's house, and pack up their bag and go to mom's house. It's like they spend more time packing than they do actually having fun. And that's like the least bit of stress. I'm not even talking about the arguments, the berating, the you hear some kind of conversation about your other parent from the parent that you're staying with. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about you just packing up your stuff and going. You know how stressful that is? As children, packing up your stuff, the thoughts of something that you want to have and hold with you for a while. Forget if you like played an instrument as a child. Oh my gosh. You kind of going back and forth with that. And it's just like, parents don't think about that. They're just kind of like, it happens on two types of ways. They're so busy trying to make sure the child doesn't feel neglected. They sometimes overdo it and overgive to their child, which should not happen. And the ultimate thing, over anything, because everything's interchangeable depending on your family or the person or whatever, the ultimate thing is they have in their mind that if it doesn't work out, that you can always get divorced. Even if they never do it because they don't want to be like you, their parents, they always have in the back of their head that, that's just what people do. If it turns out that me and you are not compatible, we can just get a divorce. And I think that's the worst lesson in the world. I think that by sticking it out and being with the person that you can't stand, that you want a divorce, up until the children leave, might make you fall in love with them more. Because you're not putting yourself above anything, you're putting your children's wants above. And that does not mean that you should not have a life. I can't expect everyone to be like me. Whereas, I just didn't do much with my life. And I mean, like, as a teenager, I wasn't this partying type, so I never had postpartum depression. Because I never fancied or I never longed for my 20 life or whatever that is. I used to hang out with my sister all day long, all the time, besides when we worked. I used to hang with her all the time. All the time. All the time. And when she was working or I was working or whatever the case may be is when she was not there, I was just chilling. Watching TV. All day. Every day. I had friends and I went out with them, but with my childhood, I kind of never kept friends. I was either too blatantly honest sometimes, or I don't know. I never have meant to be flaky, but I just could never keep the conversation going, and I always felt forced to me because of the way I was raised. Which, if you want to hear about, I guess we can go into details. It's a terrible story. It's cute. It's not bad, but you know, as results, I never really longed for like that 20s thing. So when me and my husband got together and had children, like, they are my whole day. Speaking of, you're probably gonna for sure hear them, because I don't have time to just rip myself away. I don't have an extra bedroom and it all nice up, and I don't have all that to be able to subtract this from my life. This has to be part of my life. And if you hear my children, and if you get bothered by it, that is a warning, and I'm sorry, but um, I am tired of kind of putting this off because of the right time and of the right space. Like, I don't have that, so I'm just gonna have to do it whenever. If I want to be serious about this, which I am. But I never really kind of had that. So having my husband and my kids, they're like my whole entire life. Now I have like things that I like this, like talking about what matters to women. Like this, I like talking about this. I like feeling like I can help women and tell them and be honest with them about what they're doing with themselves, and not judge in a way that they should feel disgusting, like shit, like I'm better than them, but judge them like, don't do that. So, no, not right now, baby. So for me personally, baby, yes, baby. Oh, I'm sitting down. So, she's 2 years old. So, I wake up and I'm looking at my children to see if they're okay, if everything's going good. I'm looking up, seeing my husband. I enjoy waking up and seeing him there. I enjoy waking up and seeing him there. I enjoy using the bathroom and coming out to like my family. I love it. I truly do. Because before then, I was just bored. I had nothing to do. I'm not saying that because, like, if you're bored, like, have a baby. If you're bored, have a family. No, what I'm saying is it worked for me because I was never that type of girl who would ever miss my life. My single life, my life before my children. Like, this is my life, and I'm so much more happier. It's so much more rewarding. And I feel better about myself, and I'm glad that I picked my husband, and my husband has picked me, and we are like perfect for each other. And I'm glad that I found my person. And so for everybody out there, I don't think that divorce is the answer. I think that if you chose this person to have children with, you should ultimately marry them. Will we make mistakes? Yeah, you do, but the best way to make better the situation is to marry the person that you have babies with. You should not just be, sweetie, you should not just be sleeping around without intentions of that. You know? Baby, stop. Sit down. You should not be sleeping around without intentions of marrying or being with the person that you're sleeping with. I think that divorce rates have gone up because of a lot of women, honestly, have been taking advantage of the fact that they can get married and take half the money when they never wanted to be wives in the first place. Being a wife is not just, oh, I cook, I clean, and I'm appreciated all the time. Like, sometimes you're just not appreciated. And I'm not saying, like, for my husband. I'm just saying, like, I have children. Like, my daughter, she now knows manners, but it's kind of like she throws stuff. Like, she's having tantrums. My husband works, and all the time he's happy, and all the time I'm happy. I'm not saying with him, but I'm saying in general about my day, about what happened outside. Like, it turned my mood. I'm always happy with my husband, which I love. And I always thought that he was always happy with me, but you know what I mean? Like, it's not always going to be perfect. And if you're shooting for perfect, you don't need to be a wife. Because what's perfect is you just being there. What's perfect is him just being there. What's perfect is you being in your family and it being your family. That's what's perfect. But the cookie cutter, that your children come down, sing you a little song, and go back upstairs, and it's not ideal to shoot for that because that's not realistic. I feel like when you get with somebody, dating, sit down and talk about what it means to be married to you. And I think that's probably going to change. It could change. Because not everybody's like 100% with themselves. But You need like a foundation. When you're sleeping around with somebody, say to them, if you get me pregnant, we are going to take care of this child. And see how fast they run or how fast they're willing to stay for you. Now, it's so messed up to say, but in the moment when like sex is like more, sometimes people just say about just about anything. But realistically, you need to know what you're getting yourself into if you're sleeping around, because you might be one of these relationship, these parents that were just friends with benefits, and then you had a baby, so now you're just like more than that. Yeah, yeah. So now you're just sleeping around, and now you're like a real thing, and it's like, oh my gosh, like that's like the end of the world, because you never really wanted to be with that person. You just wanted a fun time. So now years and years are down the line, you force yourself to make it work, and it's just kind of like, I really don't want to be with this person. I hate this person. And like I think that's like the worst situation in the world. Um, just being with someone that you don't want to be with. And if it's a case where you guys have had children, you're gonna have to be together. So you might as well, if you are dating somebody, excuse me, if you have children with somebody, you might as well marry them and be with them. And they may not be wife material, they may not be mother material, but you chose that when you guys had a baby together. So being together with the baby is the best situation that you can give them. And I mean that not to say that there's not circumstances where being together is not good because like you're both bad people. I'm saying like generally you should be with that person. Um, most single parent homes, the children are depressed. They have anxiety. Excuse me. They're depressed. They have anxiety. A lot of them turn to crime. Not to say that a two-parent household you won't do that. I'm just saying, yes, baby. Yes. I'm just saying that when it comes to like a one-parent household, it's a lot of crime happens, um, and no one likes to say because it's like such a cute thing to be like a single mom now, but children in single-parent home um, leads to them being serial killers. Not most of them, but when you see a lot of cases of serial killers, they were raised by single moms. And it's sad, and it's like, how does that happen? But it's just because it's not meant to be done with one person. It happens to single fathers too, by the way. Don't think because you're a single father that you can't raise a serial killer. You probably will too. I'm just saying that it's not meant to just do it for one person. Like, you're meant to share these things together. Like, you're not supposed to take on the load of taking care of a child. Taking care of a child by yourself. And it's not even like a big thing, because I hate when people make it seem like having a child is like such a big thing, like your life's over now, like, and it's not. Like, it's not like that. I love my children, I love having them, but I don't think that. I think that if you're going to be with somebody, be with them, and divorce is no option. Now, if there's like abuse, physical abuse where you feel like you're going to die, yes, I don't think that you should be in that situation. For the most part, I think you should be with the person that you lay down with. So I'm gonna end this here. I'm gonna go get my baby, and you guys have a good day.